Welcome to another edition of D is Not a Dirty Word, My Journey Through Depression. Now, we're going to try this again for about the 10th time. I don't know. It just seems like there is just something that just keeps me from trying to finish this video. I started trying to do it on Facebook Live. First time I went on Facebook Live, I got a phone call. Then I tried to do it on Facebook Live, thought I had successfully completed it, went to play it back, and it was no sound. There was no sound at all. It was just me moving my mouth. So then I decided I would try to go on live again. Could not connect. Tried recording it again, found out that I had too many files already on my phone, and so it cut off. So then I said, well, let me try it again. There's several other times in between there, but I was like, let me try this again. Got almost finished. I see the garage door open. And it's my husband. He's getting ready to cut our much needed grass. So I had to stop and start all over again. And I asked him if he would please give me about 10 minutes so I can do this again and get it over with. And hopefully this is the last time that I have to do this. And I'll be able to upload it to Facebook. So, for those of you that do not know me, I am Reverend Monica Beasley Martin. I am an itinerant elder ordained in the African Methodist Episcopal Church. And I'm also battling depression. Yes, I'm a preacher, Christian, and I'm battling depression. And today I want to look at a couple of things. One of which is taking ownership over your condition. And by that, I don't mean just acknowledging that there is a problem. And this concerns physical as well as your emotional wellness and health. But I also mean as far as any treatment plan is concerned. You know, a lot of us are so used to just going to the doctor. Doctor, this ails me. They prescribe something, we take it, and that's it. But I believe that it's important that we are informed consumers. And who knows your body better than you do? Years ago, in fact, there's a video around here somewhere where I shared that my doctor, primary care physician at the time, put me on Lexapro to deal with menopausal symptoms. Yes, he put me on Lexapro for something that is attributed to hormones. But anyway, and after I was put on this Lexapro, and it was one other antidepressant as well, didn't like the way the medication was making me feel. And so I was very quick to let him know that I didn't like it and didn't want to continue it. And so he told me, he says, well, you know, Monica, usually when you are placed on this type of medication, you are on it forever. Forever. This doctor did not know who he was talking to. Never tell Monica what she's going to have to deal with forever. And so he told me, we'll see when you come back. Well, I decided, you know what? I don't like it. And if you won't help me when it comes to getting off of it, I'll just take myself off of it. Wrong decision. So when I took myself off of it, I found myself going through some serious symptoms of throwing up, shakes, difficulty sleeping. In fact, I became dehydrated at the inauguration for President Barack Obama and ended up in the hospital. And they couldn't figure, they put liquids and different things in IV in me, and they couldn't figure out what was causing the problem because I didn't tell them, because I didn't even think in terms of the fact that it could have been connected to that. I didn't even tell them that I had just taken myself cold turkey off of Lexapro. It wasn't until later on when I happened to be sharing my story on, I think it was MySpace at that particular time, and I shared about getting off of the Lexapro and the throwing up and what have you that I was going through. And a friend of mine who happens to be a registered nurse, she contacted me and she was like, Monica, I think you're going through withdrawal from the Lexapro. Now, mind you, by that time, it had already been over 2 weeks since I had taken my last Lexapro. And so there really wasn't any need at that point to go through the gradual. So I just basically had to deal with the cold turkey withdrawal, which I do not recommend for anyone. And so that experience for me, now I'm not telling anybody else, don't take medicine. This is not that kind of video. But for me, that was a sign that Monica did not need to go use that as a means of healing. And so fast forward to this past week, went to my therapist and I shared with her about a situation that had happened. I do battle IBS, and one of the triggers for it is stress. And I had a meltdown based on something that somebody else had said and done, and I found myself for the next couple of days after that dealing with severe pains, abdominal pains, and diarrhea as a consequence. And so she suggested, she said, now, Monica, are you willing to just hear me out? And I said, yeah, I'll hear you out. And she said, well, the doctor that you had before was a primary care physician and, may have prescribed that for you the wrong way. But if you get on medication now, it would be through a psychiatrist who's more familiar with what emotional conditions and the medication, and so why don't you consider that? And I let her know that that was definitely not an option for me. Whether they know what they're doing or don't know what they're doing, this Monica is not taking any more medication that's an antidepressant like that. And I said for 2 reasons. The one being I didn't like how it made me feel. And the second thing is if I take it again and I still don't like it the way it makes me feel, even with a gradual withdrawal of it, I could still experience problems. And from the research that I have done, I have found that should you choose to get off of something like that for the second time around, then it's a lot harder. And so trust me, I'm not trying to do anything to make my life harder. I'm eliminating stress, not adding to it. And to me, being put on medication for depression and anxiety would be another stressor because of my past experience. And basically, I know my body, better than anybody else. And she's a really nice person, and she got it. And she said, well, you know what, Monica, I'm not going to bring that up to you again. Now, she did suggest, and someone else suggested, I think, St. John's wort as a natural remedy to help to deal with that. And it's a possibility that I might, after I do some research, try one of those. But I'm not sure at this particular point. I'm looking at things that help me. Right now, I know a few things. One of the things that helps me is going for a walk. Okay, after I have walked, I feel so much better. I have so much more energy. So that's something that I need to push myself to do. I need to walk or do some type of exercise, even when I don't feel like it. So that's something that I'm working on. Another thing is music. When I went to the concert the other week, that was amazing. I was exhausted before I went there, but there was something that was healing for me. Sitting there listening to the music, the first group, and then hearing the jazz band down by the water in Warren Amphitheater, that was really nice. And so that helped. And today I tried something else. And it's called dance mindfulness. Dance mindfulness. And I didn't know exactly what it was going to be about. But I said I'm open to trying different things and seeing whether they work or not. And if they work, fine. If they don't, so be it. Let's go on to something else. So this time, this dance mindfulness was using a scarf. And this was the scarf that I chose to bring. And one of the first things that she said after we went through meditation was to take your scarf, and if you were willing to detach yourself by putting your scarf in the communal pile. And when I did that, I felt like God was saying to me, Monica, it's time for you to detach that rape. That's not you. You've carried it around for all this time, and now it's time to let it go. And so it was symbolic to me of me, this process of me letting go of that so that I can be complete and whole and be the person that God called me to be. Now, the other interesting part of this is that the instructor was telling us that we needed to learn about our scarves. Now, this particular scarf I had ordered for World Hijab Day. So this is actually a hijab. And when I got it and I saw that it was not connected in any kind of way, I was a little disappointed because I'm not really familiar with how to wrap a hijab. And it wasn't until today that I realized that it contained some snaps that once I put it on my head, it would be quite easy for it to transform into the hijab. So I say that to simply say that sometimes we look at things and we just see them on the surface, and we miss out on a lot. And when we examine them more closely, we can find a lot of valuable things. One of the other things that we did in the mindfulness class was to pick out a scarf that represented something that was ugly, something that was not something that we would have picked up for ourselves. And what I chose to pick up was this tattered brown scarf that had holes in it. It was unraveling and it was coming apart. And kind of connected with what I just said. When I looked at that scarf, that's all I could see was how ugly it was and how tattered it was. But as I began to move with that scarf, I understood that even that scarf with its tatteredness had a purpose, and it too was beautiful. So, those are the things that I have picked up on this journey since the last time that we talked. And I can't believe it. This video is 16 minutes long this time. This is probably the longest one that I have done. And I'm going to close things out. And I just want to say to you to try to find different things that will help you on your path. You know, whether it's prayer, which works for me, walking, dance, mindfulness, yoga, meditation, music, whatever it is, you know. And it doesn't have to be just one thing. I found myself using multiple things to help me get through this journey. And I'm by no means an expert, but I'm just sharing with you what my experience has been. And so until we meet again, know that I am praying for you, that God would help you through your journey. I would ask that you would pray the same for me as I go through mine. Blessings to you. Until we talk again. Peace out.